Hey people, it is time for the Household Gamers pregame battle report. This week, we're playing Gremlins versus Guild. That is Matt Tuckett versus Dashel. So let's hear from Matt on what he chose for his Dashel crew and why.
All right, so we're going to go into some of the choices that I made for this particular game. We had Break the Line, which was one of the brand new Gaming Grounds 2 strategies. It is very interesting because it kind of allows you to dictate which side of the field you may want to give a little more attention to and maybe sort of focus on that, because it allows a secondary point to be scored if one of the markers is at least 8 inches away from the center line. And so with that in mind, I chose two of the Guild Hounds as I thought would be good to sort of push the strategy markers up one at a time and then alternate between them, and they have, fast movement. So I thought that would be a good idea. As far as beyond the hounds, I thought just beefy sort of guys can kind of be okay, at least either if he's near the center line, I can kind of defend if he already pushed him toward me, or if he's a little afraid to get toward the center, then I can push him ahead with my big beefy guys. Scheme-wise, we had Assassinate, which is one of the schemes that I almost never take because I feel like most masters in this game are pretty difficult to kill, especially with a lot of movement and or defensive triggers and things of that nature that allow them to escape combat or in combats or things of that nature that a lot of times I don't even really bother. But we played a couple of sort of warm-up-ish games with the new Gaining Grounds too, and I played against Ma Tuckett specifically, and I saw that she was capable of being killed. She wasn't totally, impossible to kill. So I thought, let me give it a try. Let's see what happens. I then also chose Detonate Charges. It requires you to have two scheme markers within, I believe, 2 inches of the enemy that you kill. Or actually, I don't think you have to even kill them. You just have to have it near them to detonate it. And then you score again the same way later in the game. And then outside of that, just other choices that I had. I chose Executioner as just a big beefy guy. Pale Rider, big beefy guy. Dashel, big beefy guy. And then I had a Sergeant, and that is sort of in the between ground. And I chose Queeg, who's also sort of in between ground. He's got mediocre stats, but just enough kind of going on. I figured I'd give him a try. So that's who I chose, and that's why I chose it.
So this is our third Gaining Grounds 2 game, but the first one that we've recorded. I've played all 3 games with Ma Tuckett to try and get a handle on this new crew. Since we're playing Break the Line and Corner Deployment, what I did was chose a couple of Rooster Riders to run up the flanks and kick those footballs across the center line, because we're playing with a great big huge center line, but the entire crew starts bunched up in corner deployment. So what I figured I would do is use Ma Tuckett's focus bomb to give everybody focus right at the outset, and then send the Rooster Riders shooting off to kick the footballs across the field, and then use Sparks LeBlanc and the Survivor and Trixie Belle as a sort of tar pit in the middle to kick butt on my enemy coming to kick his footballs across the center line. I chose Deathbeds because Ma Tuckett makes pit traps, so I am hoping to lay down some pit traps and some scheme markers and do some killing in proximity to them. And I am bringing the Soulstone Miner, which I'm just tickled pink is still in the Trixie keyword, and I'm going to use him for catch and release. So I'm hoping to pop him up and have him survive long enough to tweak the nose of an enemy master or henchman. Soulstone Miners do not count for strategies and schemes the turn they pop up, so he's going to have to survive around, but the miners are pretty hardy, so I think that they will survive. So that's me. I'm going to use my Rooster Riders to do the fast work, and then I'm going to use the center of my crew to tar pit in the center, do some killing next to my pit traps and scheme markers, and hopefully run up behind Dashel and tweak him on the ear. So tune back in on Friday and see how this went down. Lay your bets now, people. We'll see you then. Bye.